In the bustling, industrious world of Workland, the MiniFolks woke each morning with the first golden rays of sunlight shimmering through their windows. Ranging only a 3 in size, these tiny but mighty workers possessed an unparalleled spirit and determination. Their homes, clustered together beneath the leafy canopies and surrounded by winding cobblestone lanes, pulsed with energy at the break of dawn. Whistles sang through the air, signaling the start of another productive day for this vibrant community. Unlike most towns, Workland was famous for its towering machines, colossal contraptions that pierced the skyline, each a towering 10 in magnitude. Wheels as wide as lakes slowly turned. Massive pistons pumped like the heart of an ancient titan, and conveyor belts stretched far beyond the horizon. It was an awe-inspiring sight to see devices 10 times their size, operated by such tiny beings. Yet for the MiniFolks, this remarkable feat was not just normal, it was their way of life. It began, as most days did, with the clatter of tiny boots on metal gangways. Lila, a pint-sized engineer with a keen eye for detail, zipped her faded overalls and cinched her tool belt, ready to face any challenge the day might throw her way. Her best friend, Otis, a quick-witted problem solver, joined her at the entrance to the machine yard. Together, they watched as steely cables swung overhead and steel beams gleamed in the morning sun. At sunrise, the main generator, an immense cylinder topped with blinking lights, must be activated. Lila and Otis, along with dozens of other MiniFolks, formed neat lines and began climbing the spiral staircase, curling around the generator's girth. Though each stair was as high as their knees, the workers were undeterred. Lila, with her strong arms and spirited determination, pulled herself upward, never losing sight of their goal. At the very top, she reached the master lever, a handle so large it took 2 MiniFolks working in tandem to nudge it downward. At her call, Otis braced himself, and together, they pushed with all their might. With a satisfying clunk, the machine below hummed to life, sending a ripple of excitement through the crowd. Next came the conveyor belts. These winding, snaking lifelines carried raw materials all across the town, fueling every workshop and loading dock. They were colossal, their tracks linking every part of Workland. Each morning, supervised by the meticulous forewoman Marnie, teams of MiniFolks performed safety checks. They hopped onto moving platforms, dodging gears the size of kitchen tables, and inspected the moving parts with their miniature tools. Any loose bolt or tiny crack was swiftly repaired. No detail escaped their watchful eyes. Deep beneath the surface of Workland, the dig drills roared to life, boring shafts that delivered coal, metals, and rare minerals to the surface. Down in these echoing caverns, the sturdiest of MiniFolks, those like Jax, renowned for his strength, worked tirelessly. While their size might have seemed a disadvantage, the MiniFolks had learned to use their smallness to their advantage, fitting into narrow passages that the colossal machines couldn't reach. They navigated the rock and rubble, guiding the drills with whispered commands through tiny microphones, and ensured that the harvest of the earth never slowed. Above ground, the loader giants, a series of Goliath cranes, dominated the skyline, their arms stretching in graceful arcs as they shifted enormous crates from one side of Workland to another. Each crane required a small platoon of MiniFolks to operate. In the control cabin, only big enough for 2 at a time, the operators relied on their close communication skills. Alina, the best crane controller in town, sat at a dashboard designed for much larger hands. Yet she and her co-pilot used clever extensions and custom levers to manipulate the controls perfectly. Through their synchronized effort, the loader giants pirouetted in the air, delicately picking up crates that dwarfed the workers 20-fold. It was this spirit of teamwork and ingenuity that allowed the MiniFolks to achieve the impossible day after day. They had engineered a way of harnessing their strengths, compensating for their size not by seeking to grow larger, but by learning new tricks, inventing tools, and most importantly, looking out for each other. Their community was woven together by trust and mutual support, with every task, from the largest to the smallest, carried out with meticulous precision and care. One day, as clouds gathered overhead, a new challenge struck Workland. An unexpected thunderstorm rattled across the sky, bolts of lightning flashing dangerously close to the machines. The main generator faltered, flickering ominously. Panic could have overtaken the town, but the MiniFolks leaped into action. Lila and Otis raced to the generator's core. Working side by side, they braved the howling wind and snapping rain, securing cables and patching circuits as quickly as their tiny hands allowed. Marnie's team ensured that every conveyor belt was safely halted, and Jax rallied the mining crew to evacuate the tunnels before the water could seep in. At the loader giants, Alina's calm voice kept the operating teams focused as they rapidly moved vital supplies under cover. They worked tirelessly through the night, guiding each other with shouts, songs, and laughter that echoed across the thunder. By sunrise, though soaked to the bone and shivering, the town of Workland remained intact, its machines still and silent but unharmed, thanks to the unwavering efforts of its tiny guardians. When the morning sun bathed Workland in a golden light once more, the town came together for a well-earned celebration. Standing atop a crate, Otis raised his wrench and cheered, his voice ringing out across the square. The MiniFolks gathered around, their faces shining with pride. They had faced the might of the storm and triumphed, not because of their size, but because of their indomitable spirit and the strength found in community. From that day forward, Workland's story spread far and wide. Travelers from distant lands arrived, eager to witness the tiny MiniFolks and their mighty machines. But those who stayed and watched saw something even more remarkable: teamwork, trust, and unshakable confidence that, together, there was nothing the MiniFolks could not do. The machines, towering and powerful, were impressive. But in truth, it was the people, small in stature, giant in heart, who fueled the greatness of Workland. So, when you gaze at a vast skyline or hear the distant hum of engines, remember the lessons of the MiniFolks. It is not always size that determines power, but courage, cleverness, and the willingness to work side by side. For in Workland, under the watchful eyes of its tiny engineers, every day is proof that even the smallest among us can achieve extraordinary things.